Hey riders, here we go again. Another classic from Roberto Rini. Did this one back on September 20th of this year, 2023. Pick some random people to ride with. You can see them here on the left-hand side. You can see Roberto here is riding his bike. And again, I've said it before, said it again. Superbly filmed routes, excellent stabilization. You can't say anything better about these HD routes. You may be lacking avatars, but realistically, you don't need them when you're just doing things by yourself. Let's see our cast of characters here. Um, so, I'm not sure if any of you know, I was away in Vegas to see you two at the Sphere. Um, just wow, wow, more wow, add some wow on top, sprinkle it with more wow, and a slice of wow. And that was the experience at the Sphere. So here we go, folks. This route is called Ghisallo Pass or Ghisallo Pass. I'm not really sure how you say it, but I'm going to say it like that. It's 17.5 kilometers long with 491 meters of climbing. A banger. This is right up my alley. This is what I love to do. This is a before work, a quick after ride work, a late at night ride. Um, it's not going to take up your whole day. This is for a good effort, a 3 watt per kilo effort, you're looking at maybe 45 minutes. For my Imperial friends, it's just under 11 miles at 10.9 miles, 1,610 feet of climbing. This is one of the routes that Roberto put out, early in September, I believe it was. I actually rode quite a few of them. And yeah, they kind of blew my mind. At this point, when I started riding these, I know I've done Burbino already, and I pumped that video quite a while ago, maybe a month. I'm not sure what it was really. I avoided HD routes like the plague. I was only about riding AR routes, but I saw these, thought they looked really cool. Let's just give it a shot, and I absolutely love them. So much fun. Uh, so you can see here, I've got this character, Max Lento, Thor, Vasco, Gongaro. I just picked a bunch of random riders, and at the time when I rode this, there was just a handful of people to select. So these are just people I'm randomly selecting, different watts, see what we can do. And at this point, I find myself just behind this Max Lento character. Jumping on a little bit of map mode. I find it funny here on the map mode, you can see how the dots on the map speed up. What Roberto's done is whenever he goes into a dark tunnel, I saw this on another video as well, it'll speed you up through the tunnel. So you're not riding in the dark with nothing to see, which I thought was kind of a cool feature. And I just happened to catch it on that map view there. Doing my usual thing, riding close to 300 watts when I can. 270 to 300 is where I want to stick for these types of routes. I wasn't sure what I was getting myself into on these slippery, wet roads. But let's just let the video play here. I had a couple things I wanted to talk about. So all these Roberto Rini videos are now part of a series, or what he calls a challenge. And by he, I mean Graham Love, who runs the virtual randonneuring site on Facebook. I believe the website is virtualbrevet dot whatever. He's from New Zealand, so I'm not sure what they call it there. And so basically, a brevet is something where you have a certain amount of distance to do in X amount of time. The clock's always running. So you get ample amounts of time to do it, but the clock is always running. So when you stop to go to the bathroom, the clock is running. When you stop to have a 2 hour nap, the clock is running. Um, and so Graham has a series of challenges, brevets, virtual brevets, and he puts a lot of time in filming these routes. He films them at an excellent speed so that things don't look crazy when you're riding them. There's people on there doing like 1,200 kilometer rides, and I don't know what it is, what the route time is for that. I'm just going to say, maybe it's 4 days, 96 hours. I just made that number up. I didn't look it up here, folks. That means you have, from when you start to when you finish, you have 96 hours to somehow ride 1,200 kilometers. And Graham's gone out and filmed all these fantastic rides in New Zealand, riding, using a vehicle at a very slow speed to record all these so that we can all go out and do them. What I thought was really cool is that Roberto Rini's stuff, which is 1,200 kilometers of riding through all the routes. Some of these routes are like 14, 15, 30 kilometers, things like what I'm doing today. The one I'm doing right now is part of that challenge. So you should go check it out. And on Graham's site, it's called Tour of the North Italy Lakes. And even the best thing about it is that it's 1,200 kilometers. It's all broken down into like little checklists of the routes that you need to do. There's no hunting for them. The rides are there. It'll give you a reference to them. You go to Rouvy, you download them. There's no time limit for this. That's the best part. You can just do these as you want. It's kind of like, I love doing things where I have a checklist. It kind of goes back to my video gaming days where it's like, did I clear this dungeon or this map on normal? Yeah, I did. Okay, did I do it on hard? Yeah, I did. Veteran, legendary, epic, whatever they wanted to call it, right? I'm sure a lot of you have played video games in the past. You know what I'm talking about. Let's talk about Halo 2 legendary runs, right? Hopefully, someone can comment that they've done this too. I don't want to be the only one. So, someone pipe up here. So definitely go check out Graham on Facebook, Virtual Randonneuring. I think randonneuring goes back to the days of when pre-internet, pre-computers, pre-everything. And so a randonneur back then, which I think is very similar to a brevet, there was a set time and distance that you had to do it in. So say 100 kilometers might be, again, I'm making these numbers up because I'm not really sure, maybe it's 6 hours. And way back when, to prove that you did it, you would have to start at a certain point, like uh, the McDonald's restaurant on the certain side of town. You would start there and get a receipt, right? And I think sometimes they had rules where someone had to sign the receipt to say you were actually there, and it would be a specific route. You would go to like a little ice cream shop or something where you could get your next receipt and your next receipt and your next receipt, and at the end you would turn them all in, and that would be proof that you actually did the randonneur in that correct amount of time. Now, I hope Graham watches this. I hope he can correct me if I said things wrong, or anyone else can. Let's get the conversation going about this because I think these are really cool to do. So, a randonneur, a brevet, an audax, which I think is the term for it in the UK and parts of Northern Europe, the mainland of Europe. I think maybe in Belgium and stuff like that, they call it an audax. Timed events, just get it done, right? Go out and obliterate at 45K an hour, get it done. Go slow and steady, get it done. Everyone gets the completion award, right? So please go check out Graham on his Facebook page, his website, and get involved. So let's jump back to the ride here and see where we're at, actually. So it looks like I'm doing pretty good. I'm seeing 300 numbers, so I like that. And I am ahead of Max Lento, who's keeping me very honest. I'm pretty sure Max was a 3 watt per kilo rider who I specifically picked to make sure that I rode hard. You can see some of the other riders are almost a kilometer back right now. Lower wattage riders, not training as hard, just doing their thing. They could be riding easy for all I know. I picked them out just to kind of fill out the screen. So you can see on the bottom here, we're just hitting a bit tougher gradients now. It's been flat for quite a while. I shouldn't say flat, false flat, really. We've climbed 141 meters at the 350. So we're just hitting the halfway point, and we still got the majority of the climbing to do. You could see from the profile on the bottom right that there's a nice little kick, maybe a kilometer from the end. So that'll put a little test into my legs. I think I do remember riding this one pretty hard just because this Max Lento character is keeping me on my toes. I mean, Max is sticking right with me all the way. And Thor is not that far back either. Thor is within striking distance very easily. And everyone else looks like I've got them staggered out enough. I mean, if I crack really hard, yeah, they'll pull me back. Let's just see what happens on the steeper stuff. How do my watts per kilo compare to theirs? And then we'll be able to figure out what kind of riders we're up against here. So I'm slowly creeping away from Max Lento. Max is doing a great job here. Hanging right with me. Max is actually putting out more power than me at times here. Good to see that. Currently at 6%. Cars flying by me really fast. I don't like that. It's great that Roberto can film these all for us, but I know when I get passed by cars like that, it makes me very nervous when I'm riding. So from now on, folks, I'm sticking to inside. I don't know if I'm ever going to be outside again. That's the way it's looking. I was not outside on my bike once this summer. And the summer before, if I went and traveled to the mountains, to a place called Invermere, it's in British Columbia, Canada. Great place to ride bikes. I think I went last year in August. That's probably the last time I rode my bike outside. I find it so much more easy, interesting, time consuming, just to ride inside now. I mean, I'm getting the same work. I'm getting a better workout inside because I can just focus on power. I'm not focused on squirrels running across the road and traffic and cars and people and potholes and gravel and stopping for mechanicals. It's just ride time, go time, right? So it looks like here on some of the flatter stuff, I'm getting away from max a little bit. Maybe I'm putting on a little bit more power on the flats. Looks like Max is taking a bit of a rest here, under 2, catching his breath. I think I do remember this right. Remember I said this is from September 20th. Max pushes harder on the climbs and easier on the flats, whereas I'm probably doing the exact opposite. Again, beautifully filmed. This looks like very early spring. So this is part of the North Italy lakes. All these routes were filmed north of Milan in Italy. So they're all within striking distance of each other, and you can probably connect them all together. I did notice on some of the rides there are some longer routes, like 50, 60 kilometers. But I like these one that Roberto does. Again, folks, sorry, it's sped up 2 times the video to keep it down to a reasonable length. Poor man editing, right? You've heard the same story before. So you'll see Roberto kind of really cranking hard there. That's because he's been sped up by 2 times. Yeah, you can see it here in the shadow, right? Looks a little bit, looks a bit 1920s movies, I guess is what I can call it. So here we're still trucking along, me and Max kind of holding about 200 meters from each other. Yeah, another thing I want to talk about today is I just got home. I've been home since maybe 4 o'clock. Flew in from Las Vegas. Crappy airline, but that's okay. It's a Canadian airline. Don't worry about it. Just really economy. I hated it. We took off on Thursday for Las Vegas, and this time we decided to stay way off Strip. Like we've stayed at the majority of the places on the Strip. We've stayed at Planet Hollywood, Bellagio, Caesars, the Sahara, Trump. We stayed at the Golden Nuggets. We stayed at a little place called the Tuscany, which is a really, really cool, just barely off Strip resort. I think that's all the ones we've stayed at. We've visited a few other ones, obviously. This time we stayed way off Strip at a place called Sam's Town Casino and Gambling Hall, and it's really awesome. It's way off on the east side of town, off Flamingo. We're talking 15 minutes from the Strip. Great resort, full of locals. The casino was never really packed. You know, if smoke bothers you, because it's present at all these casinos in Vegas, there's very few smoke-free casinos. There was very limited smoking going on in there. I never felt like I was dying in there. Just a great place to stay. No resort fees. So a lot of the strip resorts on the Strip, you'll pay your hotel fee for the night, and then it's an additional $50 on top. Well, what's the resort fee? Oh, that's so you can use their Wi-Fi and swim in their pool, which is a total ripoff, but they all do it. So you go for 4 nights, there's another $200 US. A week, it gets even worse, 350. So the beauty of some of these properties on the outside that have all the same machines, have all the same drinks, maybe they don't have the finest of restaurants, but lots of great places to eat, that's for sure. They don't have resort fees. You save money right off the start. So got in on Thursday, went to TGIF, and they had $2 beers. I'm all about that. So that was my Thursday night, and then Friday night we hung out Friday through the day. Friday night we went to see U2 at the I think it's called the MSG Sphere at the Venetian, and yeah, absolutely incredible. I've been a U2 fan since the early '80s, going back to like Boy, The albums Boy, October War, Unforgettable Fire, The Joshua Tree, Actung Baby, all that kind of stuff. But that original 80s stuff is what really got me started on YouTube. I'm sure there's a lot of you listening that know exactly what I'm talking about. Gloria, Electrico, all those cool songs, right? Two Hearts Beat as One, Sunday Bloody Sunday. I love Live at Red Rocks. So good. Saw them for that's the first time I've seen them, and it was at the Sphere, the greatest concert experience I've ever seen in my life. The Sphere is 300 feet tall, 1.2 million LEDs. Apparently, they say there's 16,000 speakers built into the Sphere. Incredible sound. The show is just fantastic. Like, the Sphere is 300 feet high, all lit up. It's all screen. The stage they stand on is a screen. So at one point, you'll see Bono standing there singing on the stage, and you'll see his image underneath him. It's not like it's just like a lights bar stage that lights up certain lights at certain times. It's fully changeable. They can do whatever they want with it. Absolutely mind blowing. So, if you're from Europe and you love going to Vegas, that's something you should do in the near future because I think they're only there till February. The beauty of that is I know they're going to bring us some awesome bands after it. I think people are looking at this song going, wow, this is the next really, really cool thing to do. So yeah, and I mean, maybe you've never seen U2 either. I know a lot of you folks that watch are from the UK. I do look at the demographics a little bit. You know, that's your backyard, U2, right? But if you've never seen them, just go. Like, I wasn't sure what to expect. He sounded phenomenal. The band is just perfect at everything they do. It's not the most complicated music, but it's just really good music, good songs. He's so charismatic. He's still able to pull it off. I mean, people love that dude. Yeah, I can't say enough about it, right? Um, let's jump back to the video here. And yeah, more false flat stuff here. Let's jump into the map. So you can see I got that gap there back to Max. Max is the only one that's really hanging with me. But like I said before, I seem to do better on the flats, and Max seems to pull me back hard on the steeper sections here. So shout out to Max. You're riding differently than me. Stronger climber than me, I'm sure. I'm just trying to get away on the flats. And again, riders, remember, you know, these are all my what I call my fake races. I'm trying to show you my fake races here, how I like to train. I'm trying to show you some cool routes that people really aren't paying enough attention to, like this one. I mean, awesome scenery. Look at these places, right? If Max was here in real life, Max might be saying, nah, I'm not going to ride this easy on the flats when you're doing what you're doing. So it would all be different if this person was here in real life. We all know that, right? Uh, Max might just be able to grind me into the ground, and there it is. So I'm looking again, checking out the steep stuff coming up, all that deep orange, right? So let's keep rolling. If any of you are into, you know, I mentioned casinos. I do a little bit of gambling, not a lot. I play roulette just for fun. It kills time. I get some free drinks out of it. My wife's the slots player and she'll just dump money in. If you like to play slots, here's my YouTube channel recommendation of the day. His name is Matt Bridger. He's from South London, so it's Matt Bridger, Bridger. Just search that, you'll find him. This guy goes to Vegas like 3 and 4 times a year. I love his videos. It's just about him tooling around Vegas, playing slots, winning, losing, going for Starbucks runs, playing all the cool games, and he's just, I could listen to him all day. He's got tons of videos. I will put it as a link somewhere down below, wherever, you know, YouTubers like to say. But check out Matt Bridger. I love watching. He's the only real casino guy I watch. The rest just don't do it for me. He's the guy. Highly recommended. I'll try to start doing more YouTube channel shoutouts. And also, whilst I'm remembering that, um, one of the latest subscribers, maybe 10 or 15 or so ago, Highland Old Git. Um, thanks for subscribing. He's got a great channel too. This guy has got so many different interests. Definitely check him out. So Highland Old Git, spelled Git, Git. My dad was Scottish. He used to say that all the time. So check him out. He's got some bike content. He's got all sorts of content, really. Like, this guy has a lot of interest. He's jack of all trades, right? So let's get back to this ride, folks. I just wanted to crank this out because I'm just home. I'm probably overtired, but I wanted to get another video just so you can see how cool Roberto's routes are. And just, when you're wondering what to do, there's just so many rides available on Rouvy. And I'm hoping that what I'm doing here can direct you in the direction of some really cool ones instead of just doing the challenges, right? Because as you can see in the top corner, I am earning career XP. I'm not earning. I'm going to double check that at the end. Some of these routes, if they're brand new, I've noticed I haven't gotten the gold coin XPs. And I think that's because it's HD routes. I've heard people talking about that. I'm going to go dig some digging, ask the people that are in the know, and see if I can confirm that. But you're still going to get your career experience. So just ride. Just ride, ride, ride. You will get, especially on the AR routes, I know that, you will get career experience and gold coin experience that you can use to buy stuff. What's good for some of us that have been around quite a while, we had quite a bit of gold coins in the bank, so we were able to buy the good bikes. Like the Cervelo S5, best bike in the game. Sorry, in the app. I feel like I'm playing a game at times buying these things. I love the Specialized Shiv. You don't really need the Shiv because the Cube Aweome is like almost 100% match to it. But save your money, save your gold coins, and get the S5. I think it's 50,000. Work hard and get them right. Okay, so yeah, I've maintained my distance from Max. I'm happy to be away from him. I pushed hard. Good ride for me. Heart's racing at 180 beats per minute. We're coming to the end here, folks. Less than 250 meters to go now. Again, check these rides out. Let's support Rini, Roberto Rini, and all his content that he creates. I love how he puts little things in here, little pieces of info about the rides. Coming up to the finish. I think it's just past this little tower here. And so this ride, we're going to get to it. I rode it at 264 watts. Good strong ride for me, almost 3 watts per kilo. I saw no gold coins there, just career. Anyway, riders,